of cow manure hovers over this performance by the Dolphins.
Yeah. N-O-N-D-A-Y-S-U-C-K-S. You son of a bitch.
Obnoxious, foul, and distasteful. The Dolphins are cursing, and man, it's disgraceful, 'cause Bryan Cox and the rest of them are saying,
suck my d***, lick my b***, shit on you, motherfucker.
Words of love they toss in the microphone. The dump button just can't seem to be left alone, and all of this is because they like saying,
suck my d***, lick my b***, shit on you, motherfucker.
oh, but they play football badly.
How do you say that?
How did the Patriots kick their ass?
Suck my d***.
When will they make it to the Super Bowl? But with an attitude as bad as theirs.
Say what?
They're tossing our hopes down the stairs.
Oh, man.
Rude, obnoxious, foul, and distasteful. The Dolphins are cursing, and man, it's disgraceful, 'cause Bryan Cox and the rest of them are saying,
suck my d***, lick my b***, shit on you.
yes, they're saying,
suck my d***, lick my b***, motherfucker.
oh, they're saying,
Suck my d***, lick my b***, shit on you. Suck my d***, lick my b***, shit on you, motherfucker.
son of a bitch.
Hey, happy Monday to you, 10:07 at WIOD. The natives are a little bit psychotic today. Not as psychotic as Bryan Cox was yesterday, but to be expected, you know what I'm saying? Boy, these cigars are killing me. Any breath, any puff could be the last one. So how about those Dolphins, huh? How about that game yesterday? How about that turnout we had on Saturday? That was the good thing that happened over the weekend. Did we have a beautiful, a lovely and attractive and large and well-endowed turnout there on Saturday? We sure did. At the fountain shops. By the way, Melissa Ruggieri, you suckhole bitch. Can you believe that? This goes to show you that if you just finger them a little bit, that all of a sudden they try to hop back into line. This is the same bitch who a couple of months ago when the CDs first became available, wrote that very cryptic column about the fact, if you're into the WIOD crap, they got their CDs and cassettes. Of course, if you're not getting enough of it already with the shows and the tapes and yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, we found out that she was bedding down with a board op from Big 106, which is why every column on radio in the Sun Sentinel was about Big 106 and about Howard this and about David Ross is a great guy and never stole a freight train, etc. So you can imagine my shock when I pick up the Sun Sentinel on Saturday morning, roll it out of its sleeve and the paper too, and look at this radio column by the same Melissa Ruggieri that's been bedding down with the morning guy there from Big 106's producer. And she says, best of Neil Rogers. If you can't decide what to stuff annoying Cousin Joe's Christmas stocking with, head to Borders Books and Music and pick up either of Neil Rogers' best of CDs or cassettes. These song parodies are truly hilarious, though a bit off color for the more staid listener. And the products are worth every cent of their $20 list price. The money benefits the AIDS Organization Center. One Neil and his merry 610 WIOD men, Phil Henry and Rick and Suds, will appear at the Fashion Mall in Plantation today from noon to 2. Well, listen, so we were at the fountain shops, not the Fashion Mall. It was 1 to 3, not noon to 2. So she made sure to screw that up there at the end. God forbid that anybody extra should have shown up. Well, guess what? We had to stay an extra 20 minutes anyway. We didn't have time for nobody extra. Bitch. But it's just the idea. It goes to show you that if you just bring these people out of the closet and bring them into the sunlight and shine the flashlight on them and show that they're full of crap, that they've got that they're doing somebody else's handiwork. Which is the case in most of the media, that somebody is just smearing some friend of theirs ass or somebody that they're bedding down with or whatever the hell it is, or both. Nice going, Melissa, you stupid, idiotic bitch. And then here's a great column today, which goes to show you that if you write enough of them, sooner or later one is good. Tom Jicka, the Grinches at WFOR, cast away at anchor. Attaboy, Tom. It's about time somebody in this town gives credit to somebody who does a good job. The lovely, the talented, my close personal friend Barbara Sloan, who is one of the best and one of the sweetest people who's ever worked in this town. She gets screwed by the people there at Channel 4. And you know something? They made the big switch. They used to be Channel 6 with a crappy signal. And everybody said, well, their numbers are really in a crapper because nobody can see them. And so they switched with 4, and now it's WFOR. They're over on that big signal, and their numbers still suck. How about that? And they've lost one of you or me, I'll tell you that. I'm watching even Channel 7 news once in a while when I'm in a really good mood or when I'm really depressed and I want a few laughs. I'm even watching Channel 7 news. Or Channel 6 or Channel 10 or CNN or anything. Or even the CBC News on the satellite as opposed to Channel FOR. We screw you over. So we can have those great news. Man, this little bimbo they're bringing in from Atlanta, wherever the hell she's coming from. Where's she coming from? From Denver. Like I said, even worse. So we got the beautiful Dave Game on there covering up the screen. We got Dr. Steve who can't find his way out of the bush. And we got Camberell Marshall with those Martian lips. We've got a hell of a cast of characters over there on FOR. You can take your news. And then the last straw for me was not only they canned Barbara Sloan and screw her over, but Friday night or Thursday night on your sensitive 6 o'clock dinner hour newscast when they showed that Santeria guy with all the blood and the chickens and the goats, and they just kept showing it over and over again. In addition to which, they're very, very big on that puke cam. I don't see that too much on the other channels. But Channel 4, man, if you don't puke from watching Dave Game and Camberell Martian, you're going to puke and Joe Zagacki. Now, how'd you like to watch Joe Zagacki in the middle of your lunch hour, huh? And you know, what am I going to do about this? I guess during the break, remind me to switch that over because Rick was so enthralled with somebody bailing him out of that 9 to 10 hour again. So thanks, Tom Jicka, for writing it like it is about the great Barbara Sloan. She'll be all right. She'll be way the hell ahead of the game getting out of a toilet like that. I'll guarantee you that. Our Center 1 total is way over 80 grand. I have no idea what it is because another little Miss Muffet, she hasn't shown her lovely puss in here yet this morning, so we don't know what the hell we did on Saturday. We don't know much of anything because it's the holidays now, and from now to the end of the year, it's going to be a lot of parties, a lot of busman's holidays, and that's why we're giving away a bunch of adult videos here this morning. Because I'll tell you one thing, after that thing we went through with the CDs last week, I will never, ever buy another show giving away a bunch of stuff, except today I'll make an exception. And I think we got some hockey tickets coming out on Wednesday. Rimmer's coming in, and Don Cherry's going to be on Wednesday, I think. I hope. And then we'll probably give away a bunch of hockey. Well, it's the holidays. Isn't this the time to give away a bunch of crap to everybody? Isn't this the time to, open up your big puss and say, hey, I love you, even if I don't really...
Hi, this is Maury Povich, wishing you a happy Hanukkah.
Okay, don't forget our Vegas trip. I'll give you those numbers in a minute. We got to get a whole bunch of people signed up for that by the end of the month, which means we got about 2 weeks. And we're going to have 50 people signed, sealed, and delivered. And by the way, speaking of that, Stevie Wonder will be flying the plane. 10:13 at WIOD. It's another Kendall Toyota exclusive right now and probably only for the next 30, 40 years. Kendall Toyota will pay you at least $4 grand for your trade no matter what condition it is in. Even if you got to tow it in, yank it in, push it in, shove it in, and the car too, they'll give you at least $4 grand toward the purchase of any brand new 1996 Toyota Previa van, 4Runner, Avalon Super, Tacoma, Camry LE, Camry Wagon, Camry V6, Celica, T100 pickup, Tacoma Extra Cab, T100 Extra Cab, Tacoma pickup, or Land Cruiser in stock. Got it? Everybody who buys a new Toyota right now at Kendall Toyota also gets, at no extra charge, an AT&T cellular phone, and maybe even gets to sit down and have a schmooze with Don Cox. So get your ass down there, and don't forget, as always, Kendall Toyota will beat any other price on any other Toyota from any other dealer, advertised or otherwise. So if you want to waste money, go someplace else. If you want the best deal available anywhere in the world, you head for Kendall Toyota on US 1, just south of Dadeland. This offer based on MSRP excludes Tercels, Corollas, and Paseos, and of course, not in conjunction with any other offer.
I want to hear about the negative stuff. We got it done. I mean, how or why, I don't give a we won the game. I don't want to hear nothing negative. I don't want to read no negative in the paper tomorrow. We finally won a game.
Guess what, Brian? You lost. You lost, Brian. So did that spit freeze or what?
Lazy face, the wife is missing. Didn't ask for her permission. I'm wearing clothes, her silk pantyhose, walking around in women's underwear.
Suck my dick.
In the store, there's a teddy with little straps like spaghetti. It holds me so tight, like handcuffs at night, walking around in women's underwear.
In the office there's a guy named Melvin. He pretends that I am Murphy Brown.
He'll say, are you ready? We'll say, whoa, man. Let's wait until the wife is out of town. Later on, if you wanna, we can dress like Madonna. Put on some high shade and join the parade. Walking around in women's underwear. Lacy things, midterm, didn't ask permission.
Suck my dick.
Wearing her clothes, silk pantyhose, walking around in women's underwear. Walking around in women's underwear. Walking around in women's underwear.
10:19 at WID. So here we got a manifestly irresponsible, out-of-control asshole named Bryan Cox, who has the big play of the game on his shoulders. This isn't an imaginary play, an imaginary tackle that he allegedly made against Atlanta 2 weeks ago that they kept talking about all day yesterday, which he did not make that play, and Tim Bowens did. It's just like when, I've told you this before, Van Patrick, who used to do the Lions games for 100 years, was such a big fan, such an ass-kisser of Joe Schmidt, that even when Schmidt was on a bench, and there'd be a big tackle in the game, and Joe Schmidt makes another great tackle to save the game for the Lions, and he'd be on the bench. So it's another phantom tackle that Bryan Cox made 2 weeks ago. But even assuming he made that one, yesterday, Thurman Thomas ran through him, over him, under him, around him, and up his ass. To quote Harry Neal. Up his ass. Throughout the entire game, rushed for nearly 200 yards, single-handedly defeated the Dolphins, running over, under his legs, and then, of course, the game-saving play, potentially, which might have given the Dolphins the ball back and a chance to tie it up or win it. And here's Thurman Thomas, and Cox is the man to make the tackle. There he is, right into his arms. Cox seems to have him stopped, and there he goes. He squirts out of his hands, dives for the extra yard and a half or 2 yards, makes the first down. And now comes the emotional, out-of-control outburst. One more time for the East Coast.
Suck my dick.
There we go. Punching and yelling, and of course the guy there on the Bills, he knows how to punch his buttons. I mean, it's easy. Is it hard to punch Bryan Cox's buttons? It's the easiest thing going. And I want you to keep in mind, here's a guy that's suing everybody in the world. He's suing Rich Stadium, he's suing the NFL, he's suing Phil Henry, he's suing God, he's suing everybody. Because it's everybody else's fault that he looks like a buffoon and a jackass to his kids and everybody else's kids and grown-ups and people that we haven't determined what origin they're of. And that's the problem. It's always somebody else's fault that Bryan Cox looks like a raving lunatic and asshole.
Suck my dick.
And so there he is, waltzing off the field. This is the same Tundra where he gave him the big finger, the big one-finger salute, which at the time we all thought was amusing, right? That's pretty funny. But now when you put it in context of his ongoing overall behavior, you realize this is a frightening guy. Frightening. Pathetic. Who doesn't contribute when he's really called on to make the big play in spite of what the media says. And here's another example of why many of us have been saying all along, Shula has lost control of these guys. He never would have had an Irving Spikes on a team, or a Bryan Cox 10, 15 years ago. And I don't care how well Irving Spikes returned kickoffs yesterday, there's another disgrace. What the hell is he doing on that team? Dave Hyde, by the way, nice going again, Dave, right on target. Cox, a spitting image of a team in trouble. Yeah, he is full of spit. You're right, Rick. He's full of spit. Unbelievable. Spitting. I wish you would have like frozen right there in the middle of the frigid air in Buffalo and like done a back at you right in his ugly puss. Spitting and spitting and spitting and gesticulating and flailing and carrying on like another goofball out of control. So the kids really respect you, Brian. It's only Phil Henry. He's responsible. That's why nobody respects you, because anybody who would see your beautiful behavior on the field, see you making those big plays, they'd have immediate respect for what a genius you are. suing the NFL because he's being discriminated against because he's black. There's racism involved there, even though, what would you say, 60, 70% of the players in the NFL are black? At least 60%. And how about those Cowboys wriggling off the hook?
Oh,
yeah! Oh, my God, was I praying. It was too good to be true. Losing to a girls' team like the Giants to lose 3 in a row as Barry Swisher standing on the sidelines looking like, what's going on out there? I'm surprised when they got down ready to kick the field goal there at the end of the game that he didn't punt. I mean, this man is an accident waiting to happen. And Dion, with his $35 million, he's fighting the big one. Got a nice defensive holding penalty there in the first half. That's about all I remember him doing all day long. $35 million. Another hot dog. Another asshole. Okay, don't forget, call Rocky at Regal Travel if you want to go to Vegas with us April 18th through 21st. We're going to stay at the MGM Tower in the new MGM Grand, the new tower, 3 nights, deluxe rooms. This is Vegas at its best. It's doing it up right. Not some marginal middle-of-the-road place. $599 per person for a double, including tax, baggage handling, and a bunch of extras we're throwing in. $569 per person for a triple and $552 for a quad. They need a $150 down payment per person by December 31st. The balance you pay by February 1st, so you'll still have like 2 more months to pay. But in the meantime, if you do want to go, I urge you, I'm trying to get like a sense of urgency on this. They had a great response on Friday. Let's keep it up this week because we want to make sure that this thing flies. You can call from Dade or Broward, Rocky at Regal Travel. Call 445-7740. 445-7740. From Palm Beach, it's 989-8888. 989-8888. Or toll-free statewide, it's 1-800-686-1161. 1-800-686-1161. It is going to be great. I'm starting to sound like Chris Collinsworth. A little on the raspy side. These cigars are killing us. Did you hear that show again, by the way? He had on Wayne Fonts. Wayne Fonts of the Lions, who wins every day like 144-0 or something like that, talking about sticking a cigar up his ass. It was great. A lot of good comments about that show, too, at our appearance. 1024 at WIOD.
With Neil to Las Vegas could be a lucrative deal for you. But if you're not there, the odds will be against you. Vegas in April with Neil. Commercial jumbos out of Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Rooms at the MGM Grand. Tips, transfers, coupons, and the incredible energy of Las Vegas. April 18th through the 21st. Booking now through Regal Travel. 445-7740 or 989-8888 or 1-800-686-1161. Neil's going to Vegas with you at News Talk and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Wilson in for blocking support. He and Parmalee in the I formation in the backfield. Wide out each way. Motion from McDuffie. The handoff on the counter goes to Parmalee. He's at the 3. He is in. Touchdown! Touchdown, Dolphins.
Bernie Parmalee behind the right guard. Would you believe Andrew Green leading him into the end zone? That is fantastic and a great drive for Miami. Yes! 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 Yes!
Oh, I'm sorry, 1028 at WIOD. So they lost the game. Life goes on. They still got a shot at the playoffs, grim and slim as it may be. So let's give away these 10 adult videos. What do you say, huh? Let's play Santa Claus. I'm telling you, don't smoke this. All you kids out there, as Don Cherry would say, all you kids out there, and speaking of Don Cherry, who will be on Wednesday with Rimmer. We got to have Rimmer in because it's an excuse for him to do something. That we're having Don Cherry on, who's the real star of that show. So anyway, how about those Panthers again kicking the Tampa Bay Lightning, as stupid as they are. Boy, they got a crappy team. They look pretty good, but they can't play. They're always opening up a big mouth, like when Phil Esposito said that we were a bunch of pussies or something like that the first year when we beat them almost every game. And so now they said Saturday night's game was going to be the biggest game in the history of their franchise. And we go in there and kick their ass 7-2. Oh! By the way, congratulations to Barry Jackson for being the one other honest person in this town who says that Chris Moore is the worst local play-by-play announcer for any sport in the history of the human race. Right on, baby. Even though you are fat and you know nothing. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay.
Neil, I just wanted to say, I was listening to Jim Mattis. I wasn't able to watch the game, but I was in the car driving with my wife and kids.
Yes!
This guy is totally off the wall. I have never heard a more ridiculous announcing style than his. I mean, impartial. You can be impartial in your own little way. This guy is, somebody coming in from out of town to listen to this guy doing a Dolphin game would be out of their mind. This guy is totally ridiculous.
Or they might get lost in overtime and get shot.
I've never heard anything like it before, that this guy can get on the radio and do what he does. It's just, the guy should just be on the sidelines coaching or something. What's he doing announcing the game?
That might be an idea. Mandates for new coach.
Yeah, that's totally ridiculous.
I bet he'd go for it. Hey! Yep.
It's just totally ridiculous. I just never heard anything more ridiculous in my entire life.
Bush League, baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Suction. Lots of suction, okay. Heavy-duty suction coming from that broadcast booth.
Not that you have to suck.
But I guess it feels good. So anyway, here's the names of the... I can't give you the names of all these videos, huh? Well, there's one I can't read you. Finger food. Here comes lunch.
Squirt, squirt.
Butt nuggets. These are from Mitch at Video Waves, by the way, right? I hope. Well, I don't hope, but I'm sure that they must be. Right? Aren't they? They're from Mitch at Video Waves, right?
Yes,
they are. Okay. Well, I'm not 100%. I'm 99% sure. But he's the last guy I want to give credit for something if it isn't him. Jesus. Butt nuggets. Me so horny. Oh, that must be the new one that CNN put out. That's the Larry King story.
Misa horny.
That's the one. Other people's posse, gusher girls, ass pounders, roto rammer, and catfight. We got 10 lovely adult videos there because it's the holidays, and what better thing to do on Hanukkah than sit around and watch Peter North, right? Or somebody like that. And, of course, this was the big topic of conversation here all morning. I'm trying to get a little bit organized, figure out what the hell's going on here. And Adam and George are having, fist fights, trying to, take a grab and see what the hell is, which is on which box. So which one was the best box? Here's Fort Lauderdale on the purple line. Hello. Gone? You lose. Too bad you lose. Whatever it was you wanted, whatever you wanted to say, whatever you wanted for free, whatever your life was all about, you lose, okay? How do you like that? By the way, our center one total is zooming up there very nicely. Like I said, we had a great, not a good, but a great turnout on Saturday in spite of Melissa Ruggieri and misinformation. Seriously, somebody is going to take care of that bitch. I'm telling you, you just feel it. You can almost smell it. With this, look at that. That is a beautiful thing. We must have had a humongous day there, huh? We did 5,000 there? All right, sports fans. How do you like that? 85,499. And I want to tell you something about that crowd we had out there on Saturday. A living and breathing crowd. There were some really, and the Knots Landing lady was there. She was very shy and very embarrassed. What is she embarrassed about? She looks great. She's lost over 70 pounds on the Atkins diet. She looks sensational, like a different person. She looks phenomenal. And we had some other people there who looked, to be honest with you, pretty phenomenal. It was just a living and breathing crowd. That was, like I said, sensational. So anyway, and then the guy with the eyes had to show up. Here's Mobile in Jupiter. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say what a piece of garbage Bryan Cox is.
Yeah?
Yes.
And it was good to see Bo Camper stand up and tell him what a piece of garbage he is.
I didn't hear Bo Camper. What was he saying?
Well, on Sports Wrap, obviously, last night, we
lost... Damn it, here's one guy that's going to give us some good information and his mobile craps out. Damn it! Somebody else will tell me. Because I didn't hear any of that. We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463-524-WID, because I got to get all those Mike Lang calls, even though Pittsburgh lost last night. By the way, the Leafs won 3-2 in overtime. I just thought I'd mention that. They hot as a pistol, baby, my Leafs. But that was a hell of a game, the Penguins and the Flyers, and of course I got 5 Penguin goals on there for Wednesday to piss Rimmer off. So I didn't have an opportunity to listen to Bo Camper and all these other mavens on here, but it would be real interesting to find out if we had... Because I told Bo Camper in the hall that day, especially when I saw how big and scary he is, I said, you're the one guy on our sports staff that's got some balls and tells it like it is, and that isn't afraid, isn't kowtowing to Shula and that whole Dolphin organization. You got to admit, it was a hell of a game. Buffalo gave him a Christmas and a Hanukkah gift. They gave him 10 points right off the bat. They had done nothing, Miami, the whole first half, offensively or defensively, nothing. Buffalo comes out. They said, okay, we feel sorry for you. We know you came all the way up here to this cold weather. We're going to get a bad head cold, whatever. We'll give you something. Here's 10 points. We'll let you back in the game. So it turned out to be a hell of a game. And Marino, I don't care what anybody says, and I do mean anybody, here's the one guy on that team that's got balls. He dislocates his finger. He gets it caught in the guy's helmet, luckily on the left hand. He misses one play in which Bernie Kosar comes in and throws a little girly pass, that wobbling duck that's still, I think it's still wobbling over the skies of Buffalo somewhere. It's probably over Hamburg, right over Buffalo Raceway as we speak, and will probably land somewhere between Fredonia and Depew, because you could smell it a long ways away. Even a little girl could have thrown a better looking pass. It's like wobbling end over end, like a kickoff. Bernie, I tell you, sweetheart, you are just got to butch up a little bit. And then Marino comes out with that left hand taped up. He's got the dislocated finger. He comes out in the second half, drives him down the field after those turnovers. They get the field goal. They get the touchdown. After Buffalo takes the lead, he drives him in there for another score. And the only thing that the fickle fans in this town will remember is he threw one really smelly bad pass there that got intercepted and set up the game-winning field goal. They won't remember that it was Bryan Cox who let Thurman Thomas slip away with like a minute and a half or 2 minutes left in the game that would have given Danny Boy a chance to drive him right down the field again. And you have the feeling if he's got the ball and McDuffie's catching it like he was, they'll probably go down there and, do it again. No, they won't remember that, though, because they're fickle, baby. Like I said, 3 weeks ago, this town was ready to get a lynch mob together to fry Shula's ass, to go out there and hang him in the goddamn Everglades. Now they won a couple of games, and, Super Bowl, he's okay. And they lose to the Bills yesterday in the game of the century. Like they do every December, but they've never beaten Buffalo in December. Ever. In the history of the two franchises, they have never, ever beaten Buffalo in December. Ever. Does the word choke start coming to mind? And now, of course, they're right back on the bandwagon. They're getting the rope and the saw and the hacksaw out there again. They want to take them back out in the woods, to the woodshed. 10:37 at WIOD. Did you know you can buy a Dolphins football helmet for only $9.99? And after yesterday, why not? It's true, it even has the official logo of the Dolphins right on it. And what's more, it's the most delicious football helmet you've ever popped in your puss. You see, this football helmet is the newest ice cream cake from Carvel. It's shaped like a helmet, decorated with the Dolphins logo, and handmade of rich, delicious ice cream, as in Rich Stadium. Your participating Carvel Ice Cream Bakery or favorite supermarket has them for only $9.99. And with proof of purchase, you can send in for a free Spiral football. So look for the Carvel football helmet cakes at your participating Carvel Ice Cream Bakery or your favorite supermarket. They're only $9.99, so you can buy a whole bunch of them for the holidays. And don't forget, when you do buy them, to send in for that free Spiral football. The Carvel football helmet, it's waiting for you. It's waiting on you. It's waiting in you right now at your Carvel Ice Cream Bakery, because Carvel believes everything should be made of ice cream, even Dolphin football helmets, and maybe even a little bit of that spittle we saw in Buffalo yesterday.
The opinions expressed by the host, guests, or callers on WIOD are not necessarily those of the station or its sponsors. All WIOD programs are copyright 1995 by WIOD Incorporated. No tape recordings or transcripts may be created or distributed without prior written consent of WIOD Incorporated.
Buffalo still sucks.
Oh! In 1971, we bid a tearful goodbye to the Doors. Well, they're back in the 90s as the Windows.
Windows 95. Bill Gates' computer hype. My computer just went down and I can't mess around with Windows 95.
The Windows. Their music isn't exactly poetry to the ears of computer users around the world.
Yeah, it glitches badly. Oh, how mad it made me. Hey, come on, Bill Gates. This software's second rate.
The Windows will bring hard rock to your hard drive.
How do I run you without more memory? The ads mislead me, I should get it for free.
The Windows and the Windows 95 tour. Feel free to crash and spend a lot of time with us.
10:41 at WIOD. That Center One total's looking really good. $85,499. You can order your best of CDs and cassettes and the T-shirts too by calling Center One right now at 561-0078. Or you can pop into your Borders, Books, Music, and Cafe stores, and now they're like all over the place. There's probably like one. You look out the window, there's one right there. They're in Coral Springs, they're in Aventura, they're in Kendall, they're in Boca, Fort Lauderdale, and now in Coconut Grove in Mayfair. And they got our stuff in there. And our next appearance is going to be on, Saturday, December 30th, noon to 2 at the Borders in Coral Springs, taking our lives in our hands, facing all of those gangs up there in Coral Springs. That's from noon to 2, Thursday, December 30th. Here's Roberto. Buenos dias.
Mr. Rogers, how are you?
Okay.
Listen, I'm glad to hear you had a nice turnout at the mall.
We had a great turnout. It was a beautiful crowd.
And a beautiful crowd, too.
And most of them were under the age of 100.
When I went to the fashion center, there was this woman talking with Rick Riley. She looked like she had a fight with a Brinks truck and lost. I'll tell you, that's
yeah.
Ugly crowd over there.
Well, that's Rick's crowd. No, actually, you're right. We did have I remember making that comment. We had a big crowd at the fashion mall, but very ugly.
Yeah, I know, right? And unfortunately, I was in the crowd. Listen, let me tell you, I'm going to Vegas.
Yeah. With us?
Yes.
Are you serial?
Yeah, I'm.
All right.
I'm serial port. I had to ask you something. If you guys don't make the quota of 50 before December 31st,
right?
Are you guys gonna get refunds? Are you gonna cancel the trip?
It's gonna happen. Don't worry about it.
Okay, great. So
I just had to stick everybody with a pin up their ass because it was starting off real slow. Which partly because I didn't have all the information, that makes a difference. And number two, because people are nervous after the last 2 years.
Right.
Bob Lincoln may have scared a few hundred people away. I don't want to suggest that he did, but he might just have scared a few thousand people away.
Okay, listen, I've been to casinos before, but it was just that white trash settled, where you go on a cruise and stuff like that.
Oh, forget that. Forget that.
Never mind. On top of it,
once you walk into the MGM Grand, you'll think that you've been missing your life. Every day that you've been breathing, you've been missing life.
I'll tell you.
Once Cheryl takes a look at the boxes on these videos, she's also going to know she's been missing it.
Oh, the videos. Well, I'm not calling for the videos.
Thank God. She just looked at the first one and said, oh, my God.
Listen, I've been to Europe. I've been all over the place, but I've never been to a casino.
Oh, my God.
So,
yeah.
Let me ask you,
wait a minute. Why are you propped up against the wall over there with that box? Which one is it? Here comes lunch. Yeah. Well, there's lunch, breakfast, and dinner. What's wrong with that? More than you ever saw, sweetheart, with that Jewish judge. And the other one. But anyway, what were you saying, Roberto? Sorry.
One last thing. How's the dress code? I mean,
You can dress like sloppy. You can be fancy. The sloppier, the better.
Okay, great.
There's no dress code. Even in the... I would say there might be maybe a couple of restaurants in Vegas where you want to wear a sport jacket, but I don't think you're going to be in there. But Jen, even in that real expensive one, what's the name of that place, George? The restaurant with the lobster down there? Oh, damn it. With the big lobster on the sign where we ate, you wouldn't know. It's above your price range, sure. But even in a place like that, you don't have to go in. You can go in very casual.
Okay, that's
They just want your money.
Well, I want to call Rocky today now. Is this open until what time? Because I get out of work a little late.
Well, why can't you call her now?
Well, because I'm on a legal break on the phone. You know how it is up there with.
So you can't take like 2 minutes to call her during the day?
Yeah, I could do it. I mean, it's 2:30 too late.
No, of course not.
Okay, well, great. So I'll get in touch with her today.
Great.
Or is it him?
Her.
Okay.
Well, you won't know the difference. See you later.
Okay, thanks, Neil.
Adios.
Bye.
We have an open line in Dade, 751-9463, 751-WIOD. Every time we have these adult videos in here, which I think are relatively tame, to be honest with you, Cheryl comes in here and has to fondle the boxes. Boy, that one, she was squeezing that box so tight, I thought we were going to have an accident. But my favorite is that Larry King one, the Larry King story, Me So Horny. That's my favorite. Here's Port St. Lucie. Hello.
Ryan, the foul-tempered dolphin, really hates IOD. And if you'd like to taunt him, he'll sue you just like Phil Hendry.
Suck my dick.
All of the other dolphins used to laugh and have some fun.
Yeah.
They always followed Master Bryan. And now look where their season's gone.
Yes!
Then one Sunday afternoon, the brainstem woke from his nap.
Oi!
He claimed Bryan Cox lost his temper too fast, 'cause Phil Hendry made him look like an ass.
But
Soon Wayne will bring in Jimmy, 'cause Shula's been living in the past.
Suck my dick.
And Bryan will have to cut the crap then, or Jimmy will just trade his ass.
We need some help.
Jimmy will trade his ass.
Yes.
The rest of them too.
Okay, see, that's Greg from Boynton Beach. If he just calls like once every 4 years with something like that, we love him. We have an open line. Of course, he said, don't be giving no stuff away on the air or else I'll call in and sing something. Open line on the green line there, 1-800-944-9463. We got these adult videos here, which I'm going to milk. Not that I'm, buying calls, giving stuff away. Not after that traumatic game yesterday. See, the audience, they're back. The whole town is right back on the bandwagon again. Let's have the lynch mob for the brainstem.
We need some help.
Exactly. Who the hell is this man kidding anyway, okay? Talk about life is passing them by. What the hell have they won like in the last 23 years? Once in a great, great while, on the rarest of occasion, they might win the division. Might. Rarely. But, hey, when it comes down to the big games, I remember that AFC Championship game 3 years ago when we had that really good season and Buffalo came in here and hopes were high, and that was the year we were going to the Super Bowl, and this team pulled it up like a goddamn accordion. It was pathetic. Talk about not even showing up. Not that we want to put a lot of pressure on Don. It's just time for the Don. Like they said, the Don is slipping. With all due respect, the Don is slipping. And Marv Levy outcoaches this man game after game after game, year after year, especially the more significance there is in the outcome of the game, the more Marv Levy outcoaches him. And if you read Dave Hyde's column, they were astonished. They were shocked. Like they ran the end-around play 685 times yesterday with Steve Tasker, and you would have thought that after the first 650 times they would have seen it coming. Nope. And he talks about that in here, saying that the Bills coaching staff was just shocked. The entire team was shocked that they just kept running the same plays over and over again, and nobody adjusted to it. Even the great Jeff Cross said some of the simple lead plays to Thomas, they just kept running them. We just mustn't be good enough to win, says the great Jeff Cross. How do you like that? We just must not be good enough to win. And the most amazing part of it is, first of all, Carolina, you do realize the story of the century in sports, they're probably going to wind up 500. If they win next week, they could be the first 500 expansion team, certainly in the history of the NFL. It's unheard of. And when you stop and think about it, that even if Miami wins next week against the pathetic St. Louis Rams, which they probably will, they should, they might, that they wind up 9-7. Carolina, which is a girls' team with that little punky kid, that quarterback from Penn State, they're going to wind up possibly 8-8, which is only one game off of that. Just stop and chaw that around a little bit and then spit it out. 10:49 at WIOD. Listen, Brian was just listening to, what's her name, Dr. Marion. Remember Dr. Marion Grabowski, the sex bitch from U of M years ago? When in doubt, spit it out. She always said it. There's a new choice, a smart choice for cellular service here in South Florida, and that choice is Mobile One Cellular Network. Switch over to Mobile One. You'll get these 3 stocking stuffers, a car lighter power adapter, a leather carrying case for your phone, and a Motorola pager. That's $150 worth of free stuff when you switch over to Mobile One. Along with your free stocking stuffers, Mobile One will give you the lowest individual rate plan anywhere in town. You'll pay just $19.95 per month, and that includes free airtime. And on the average, extra airtime will cost you only 33 cents a minute. So call Mobile One today at 1-800-PHONE-M1 and make the switch to Mobile One Cellular, South Florida's new cellular choice. You'll get 3 stocking stuffers worth $150, and, most importantly, the lowest individual rate plan available anywhere in South Florida. Call them today and make the big switch. 1-800-PHONE-M1. 1-800-PHONE-M1, Mobile One Cellular. Connection fee required for your free Motorola pager.
Covering the news of South Florida. A daunting task for some radio stations. But they don't have the people we do at 610 WIOD News. Doesn't matter where the story is. Doesn't matter what time it happens. We'll be there. The best news. 24 hours a day, every day. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
Holy cow, Aaron's coming.
If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake.
Tonight on A Current Affair, shocking videos of the Brady Bunch's all-night Wesson Oil orgies.
How about you, Cindy? Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Plus, never-before-seen episodes too racy for network television.
Mom, I'm coming.
Oh, congratulations, honey. Why don't you go tell Alice the news? She's in her room.
That's tonight on A Current Affair.
10:52 at WID. That center one total just keeps zooming up there, baby. It's incredible. 86,739. You see, when you kick these bastards in the ass a little bit, plus the fact it's like right in the middle of Hanukkah now, Christmas is only like 7 days away, a week from today. We're going to have some really great programming for you next week, aren't we? I think like dead air. Did we sign off overnight last night, by the way? I think we were off the air last night for like technical maintenance. What is this I'm seeing on Latin MTV right now? Man, oh man. Father and son, said and done. Boys Zone? Boys Zone what? Here's Boynton Beach. Hello. Boynton Beach is gone? All right, that's a good move. Open line on the green line, 1-800-944. Here's a mobile in Orlando. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, sir.
I wanted to talk to you about another gutless wonder. Dan Reeves. How does the coach of the New York Giants, a team that's going nowhere, coach that's going nowhere,
right?
They've got 4 minutes to go in a game against the division leaders,
and they kick a field goal.
And they punt. They punted with 4 minutes to go to give Dallas back the ball with plenty
wait a minute.
of time.
I saw the last half of that game, or last 3 quarters of that game. Where were we talking about?
At the very, very...
Well, where were they? Where was the ball?
It was, they had the ball somewhere between the 30 and 35, their own 30, 35-yard line.
And it was 4th and what?
Right, and they punted the ball.
But it was 4th and what? How far did they have to... On their own 30 to 35, and you want them to go for it when they got a 2-point lead?
Again,
they had a 2-point lead.
I know, but the team's going... look, they've got nothing to lose. They've got nothing to lose.
I understand that, but the point is, listen, the kid for Dallas, the field goal kicker, Banyol, has made like 700 kicks in a row.
Right, he made 4 of that game already.
But the point is, so if you give him the ball on your own, if you don't make it and you give him the ball on your own 35-yard line, that's already only a 52-yard field goal if they don't make anything at all. You're not going to do that.
Here's the deal at that point. Dallas had been driving the ball all day, but they had not gotten into the end zone. So you back
them up in their own territory. That's the point.
Yeah,
you back them up as far as, sir, you know nothing about football. You're a bozo. You're an idiot. You're a clown. That's the dumbest. This guy, call up Barry Switzer and get him in touch with this guy, will you? That is the dumbest call. I mean, I know that most of the people down here are totally unknowledgeable about any sport, but that could be the dumbest call I've ever had in my life from a guy that sounds like his IQ is bigger than his penis, but maybe not. Well, if it's 3, I mean, that's just amazing. They should have gone for it on their own 30 or 35-yard line with 4 minutes left in the game, and they got a 2-point lead. What is this man talking about? What kind of caca are we talking here, baby? Here's North Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Did you like that call?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a knowledgeable guy?
Yeah, right out of the
He wants him to pull a Barry Swisher, this guy. Yeah, right. But anyway.
Yeah, on Inside NFL HBO show.
Yes?
Nick Bonaconi tried to hit Shula right between the eyes with a good question.
Yeah. Oh, that's a first?
Yeah, but Shula dodged it artfully.
He'll never talk to him again, I guarantee you that.
Well, he kind of asked him, he said, hey, Coach, the team seems to be in disarray.
Yeah.
They're screaming at each other. They're screaming at the coaches on the sideline. He says, why don't you just kick them in the ass like you used to do to us?
You're ready.
And Shula came back with something like, well, you know, I was as big or bigger than you guys back in those days.
We need some help.
Yeah. Now he's just a shriveled up old man who's seen Alan Kent. He doesn't have control, baby. They're out of control. The natives are running the asylum over there.
Yeah, you need physical intimidation to be able. Maybe he's just afraid Bryan will spit in his face.
I think so, or worse than that.
Yeah,
he might sit on him.
Yeah, you need a welder's mask.
He might sit on the old brainstem.
Yep.
Which, of course, we know that's where Bryan's brains are anyway, if he's got any. So how did you like that performance here at the end of the game yesterday? Didn't that bring great credit to the Dolphin organization and the city of Miami and our entire NFL for all the little kids that were watching at 4 in the afternoon on a Sunday?
Well, he doesn't want to be a role model. That's why he visits the schools.
Right.
Spread the word.
Okay, thank you so much for whatever it is you were saying. Thank you, Terry, for whatever this is. Bounced in Buffalo, Miami Dolphins linebacker Bryan Cox. Now, what is this from? Well, it's from the Palm Beach Post. Spits at Buffalo fans Saturday as he is escorted to the locker room after being ejected from the game for fighting late in the fourth quarter. Below, a Buffalo fan uses a sign to send Cox a message of his own. The fan is holding up a sign that says, Bryan Cox proudly wears his IQ on his chest. Bryan Cox wears his IQ on his chest as in 51, huh? I think the guys give him a little bit too much credit.
Suck my dick.
As in about 48 points too much. Unbelievable. Here's Key Biscayne. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Neil?
Great.
Long time no talk to you.
All right.
I'm your buddy from Washington up north.
Sure.
Well, we lost you on SUN, so I had to move down here to hear you.
Good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Well, happy birthday to you and me. I'm sorry I couldn't get to you before. I've been working.
Yeah.
I work at the U of M, so
you work at the U of M?
Yes, I do.
You work at the doing what?
I run a kitchen, one of the cafeterias.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I bet you they put a lot of good stuff for those football players in those.
Hear of them.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Listen, about your cigars. What are you smoking today?
I'm smoking Garcia Vega Galantes.
Okay, can I pass by and drop you off one? I got a nice Cuban for you.
I don't smoke, though. You can drop it off for George. I won't smoke it. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, no?
Is it one of those big gut wrenches?
No.
Looks like a hippopotamus suppository?
A nice small one. Nice petite Cuban.
Nice petite Cuban sounds good to me. Yeah, drop by a nice petite Cuban. Sounds good. About 5'8".
Well, 5'6".
140 pounds.
5'6", about 150, all right?
No hair on the chest. Nice black hair. Good haircut.
Damn. I lost on that one. I got a hairy chest.
Circumcised, yeah. You're out.
Hey, Neil, can I suck up for one of your tapes?
Sure. Which one?
Whichever one you choose, just send it on.
Well, Me So Horny is right on top.
Give me that one.
Huh?
Give me that one.
I'll give it to you.
All
In fact,
right.
if you come in, we'll swap it with a cigar. It's the Larry King story.
Me So Horny.
Yep.
I'll do that on my way home.
Okay.
I live right down the street from you.
After you get this, you probably will do it on the way home. Okay, hang on. Line 3, he's so horny, baby. Okay, give him this beautiful thing. Look at those pictures there on the front. Look at that. Oh, my God. She's having breakfast. She's having lunch. She's having dinner. She's having desserts. And this guy, I can't think of what this one... How come most of the guys, except for Peter North and one or two other guys, most of the guys in adult videos are also ugly? Ugly. That's in those straight videos. Of course, in the fag videos, they're not going to put up with too many ugly guys, okay? Once in a great while, they'll put in like a token ugly guy in a fag video just to prove that there are some ugly fags. Oh, speaking of that, look, there's George Michael on Latin MTV. So anyway, don't forget the Vegas trip. Get on the horn with Rocky, 445-7740. And Center 1, we're like almost 90 grand. You almost get the feeling we might be doing it. Almost. Almost.
Not the way things ought to be. The way things are. 610 WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
Tyson versus Doc. Mike Tyson, Princess Diana. 15 rounds to decide who will wear the crown.
My tiara! Not no more, Your Highness. I think you're right.
Mike Tyson wanted a fight that would bring him the buck.
That's right.
Princess Diana just wanted to beat up a man. Any man.
I shall punch you so hard your liver shall quiver. You damn pickle.
Don King and the Queen present Tyson versus Diana.
Riding instructor. Mama, you should have fooled around with a boxing instructor. I don't need the crown jewels. I shall take your family jewels. Ah, ain't no fear touching Mr. Marble.
Yes, Malice in the palace. Tyson and Doc.
I'm gonna put her on her can in fucking hand.
Friday night on pay-per-view.
Okay, 10:06 at WIOD. Happy holidays to you. Happy Wednesday. Happy whatever the hell you got on. Happy Kwanzaa, etc. What is that? What is that Kwanzaa stuff, huh?
That's like the 26th.
No, I don't mean like when. I mean like what is it? See, I'm trying to say anything that would like evade the obvious at this point. And thank God Jeff Rimmer is here. When the hell would I ever think I would say that? Thank God Jeff Rimmer is here on this particular day. Manishtana Halala Hazeh. Why is this day any different from any other day? That's because Jeff Rimmer is here to save the day. He might have been okay here this morning, you know, but that's another story which we'll talk about later. I'm sure we will. I might just have one or two comments to make, but, not now. Let's not spoil a good time. So anyway, Don Cherry's going to be with us on the phone in about 20 minutes. Don't sit back in a chair, sit up there by that thing's a microphone, okay?
Well, I don't want
to
to interrupt anything here.
Yeah.
After all, it's been stimulating radio for the last 4 hours.
Oh, so you're going to start. You're going to start.
Hey.
What time is your show on?
I don't have one.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Well, No comment.
Okay.
It's best I don't say anything.
Let's all just do like Phil Henry now. No comment. No matter what it is, no comment, okay?
No comment.
Let's see if we got anybody listening this morning. Okay. Now, how many tickets did you bring, by the way?
No, hang on a second here. Now, you're assuming something.
Assuming what?
That I'm going to give tickets away today.
Yes,
or that I bring tickets from the Florida
You want to know why I'm
Panthers.
assuming that?
I never said I was going to
Because
get
you and
tickets.
Jeff Moss are into this ego thing.
Oh, come on.
You
Leave
are.
Jeff alone.
See, this isn't QAM. We don't sit here and play these like cutesy little games. You know, everything is
I'm
like
not playing
these
any cutesy
contrived arguments between Ass in the Woods there and the little dog or whatever the guy's name is. We don't do that.
No,
we also don't bring people on here to stick their head up Wayne's ass. If we want somebody to kiss ass, we got Depot. We don't have to have you kissing ass.
Well, listen, I was listening down on my way in here, up the dial, and they're defending Bryan Cox.
You can say-
Unconscionable.
They're defending Bryan Cox?
They're defending Bryan Cox.
Based on
Can
what?
you believe it?
Based on what?
The fact one thing, he's on that radio station on Thursday nights.
Well, that don't sound like a conflict of interest to me.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's a credible station. Did you tell me they said Joe Newendike went to Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
First of all, who would believe that? Didn't the Penguins just unload Robitaille and both Samuelsons because they couldn't afford the payroll and they're still in financial problems? The Penguins need more scoring power like I need more hemorrhoids.
Well, Joe Newendike did get traded. He got traded late last night, after the deadline, I might add.
Yeah.
Because the trade wasn't made by midnight. I just looked at the late edition of the USA Today, which doesn't go to bed till 2 a.m., and there's no deal in the newspaper. But for all the hockey fans tuning in this morning, Newendike went, and it's just a bogus trade. He went to Dallas for Dallas's #1 pick. First name Jerome, second name Alphabet, and Corey Millen, who was in the International League for most of last year. Now, I know for a fact...
Oh, is this going to be like when you couldn't pronounce the names on the PA, that one game you did, going to be the same thing again? We can't pronounce his last name, so it's Alphabet Soup.
He's the #1 pick out of Kamloops, British Columbia.
Oh,
He'll play on
Kamloops.
the
I like
World
that. That's my
Junior
favorite
team.
place, Kamloops.
Yeah, Kamloops. Not to
to
be
Medicine
confused
Hat.
with Fruit Loops.
No, that's
But anyway...
Denise. Don't start on Denise already, will you?
I'm not starting on Denise. Give me a break. Fact of the matter is, Newendike gets traded to the Dallas Stars, signs a $5 million
What a boring
contract.
team that is. Oh,
And,
my God. You
hey,
talk about a team that
they got
needs
a
Joe
talented player.
Newendike. They can't score. That team is so goddamn boring. So maybe there's some justice there, because they
Now
need
they've
him
got
badly.
Modano and Newendike.
It would have been nice if the Leafs would have got him, but, realize if the Panthers got him, but the Panthers are doing great, and the big article today is how they're doing great with the low payroll, so they're not looking like to pay anybody gigantic money with all these sob stories we're hearing now from Wayne.
Well, I can tell you, Brian Murray tried to get Newendike, and in fact, I know...
But we couldn't afford him.
No, it has nothing to do with money.
What was it for then?
The Panthers offered a better package of players
Than Dallas did.
than what Dallas
So then why
did.
didn't we get
the
them? Are they
Rangers
anti-Semitic?
offered better players.
Why
the
didn't
New
we get
Jersey
them then?
Devils didn't, because the guy that's now running the show, Doug Risebrough, got fired. Al Coates was afraid to pull the trigger. I was talking last night to a hockey guy who told me that the general
Don't say
managers
pull
are
the trigger, because there are a lot of us around here today who are right on the edge. In fact, I walked in the building this morning. I have never seen it. There were like 50 people, all the people associated with the AM in this building, were sitting around preparing to play Russian roulette. The only problem is the guns were all fully loaded. So that should paint a verbal picture for you how things are around here. But anyway, you were saying...
Al Coates was reluctant to make a trade, and certainly, obviously, he trades him to Dallas when really there's no question that in the Eastern Conference alone, with the Rangers and the Flyers and the Panthers and the Devils, he could have made a much better deal than the
Why would he want to trade him to somebody in his own conference anyway?
That's what they did. They traded him. Calgary and the Dallas Stars are in the same conference.
They played a nice game last night against the Penguins, Calgary, 7-1. They got blown out.
Anyway, you were asking me about tickets. And why would you assume that I'm bringing tickets?
I already told you that, because Jeff Moss said, you tell me what day Rimmer is coming on, and we'll have like a contest to see who's going to bring you the most tickets, which to me indicates probably like 2 or 3 pair apiece.
Well, the reason I came is I want to see what I could mooch off of you. I mean, where's my gift for coming?
Yeah, we got a gift for you. We got your gift right over here, Rimmer. Your gift will be Don Cherry on the phone in about 10, 15 minutes.
The best Don Cherry.
And what is that god-awful show? I was watching it on KBL on Sunday night. It's an old show.
Where
he's sitting in the bar and he was interviewing Lou
Don
Ross
Cherry's Grapevine.
Yeah, what is that? It was 2 years old.
Well, they're rerunning the best of Don Cherry's Grapevine.
We don't want no more.
Kind of like the best of this morning, WIOD.
Right. See, there he goes again. More shots. See, if you want to suck your way back into this place, which I know you're desperate to do, this ain't the way to do it, Rimmer. I'll tell you that right now. So you might want to reevaluate. Yeah. Why don't just for one time you say on the air what you tell me off the air? That would be a first. There's a first for everything, like that pot fan guy. But we'll get into that in a minute. 12 minutes after your mic's off, 12 after 10 at WIOD. Jeff Rimmer, the voice of the Florida Panthers. And by the way, I should mention the first place in the conference and in the league Panthers still because, thank you, New Jersey, they finally scored more than 2 goals last night. Every time they score more than 2 goals, they win a game. Overtime, they beat the Flyers. All right.
Oh!
How do you like that? So thank you so much. We're still in first place in the league. 12 after 10 at WIOD. Ideal Automotive and Truck Accessories has the biggest inventory of bedliners for your truck. If you're packing up thinking of getting out of town, here's the way to do it. Ideal's price and selection on bedliners is the best in South Florida. In fact, they'll beat anybody's price on bedliners. Always over 2,000 in stock, including the new Bodyguard Cargo Grip Surface bedliner. It's gripping. This bedliner is up to 4 times less likely to let cargo slip than your regular smooth surface bedliner. It increases the resale value of your truck, and it's resistant to products like gasoline, chemicals, and acid. And you'll find it at Ideal Automotive and Truck Accessories. Ideal's got that big one, baby, a 30,000 square foot showroom that is jam-packed with everything you need at wholesale prices. Bug shields for cars and trucks, toolboxes, accessories for your truck like running boards, visors, light covers. They've got it all. It's 701 Northwest 57th Place in Fort Lauderdale. So zip on over there or call them toll-free, 1-800-621-6464. 1-800-621-6464. Nobody beats their prices. Nobody beats their selection. Ideal Automotive and Truck Accessories. They be the best.
So tell me, what's your secret this evening, my dear?
Is that when I got more pleasure from the shower massage than the last man I was with?
Fashion Phones, 8 p.m. till midnight on News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.
Oh, Neil, my queen. God.
That damn faggot. I can't stand him.
Okay, 10:16 at WIOD. So what were you just saying about Denise Potvin? We got a real epidemic. I want to talk to Cherry about this. We have a real epidemic in hockey, and I'm one of those people who's a real nut about listening and watching the hockey games and have great respect for great broadcasters. I don't want to get into a big thing about that. But whether you're good, bad, or indifferent, the jockocracy that Howard Cosell talked about, where we got these ex-jocks who think that they're God's answer to whatever the question is, no matter what it is, and everybody wants to hear them. We don't want to hear them, and I know, being the name dropper that you are, you always love talking about John Davidson, J.D. I want to salute Red Fisher, that old fart up in Montreal, ripped him an ass on Hockey Night in Canada over the weekend. Deservedly so. John Davidson is he's a big pile of turd, okay? And I'm going to tell you the same thing see, when I come on the air, I tell you the same thing that I tell you on the phone. I don't waffle. I don't cover my bets, okay? I don't like wimp out and kiss ass. John Davidson never shuts up.
That's your opinion.
Sam Rosen ought to sue him. For he should. He ought to sue him. He's killing this man.
J.D. is known around the National Hockey League as the premier analyst in the game.
He couldn't lick Harry Neal's ass.
Well, hey, that's your interpretation. It's all subjective. It's all subjective. I think John Davidson, from an information point of view, from an analytical point of view, I think he's terrific. I think he's great.
Yeah, of course you do, because he's a personal friend of yours.
Even if he wasn't a personal friend of mine, I still think he was good. He is strong.
All right,
Neil, he is very strong.
So I understand what you're saying, though. So in other words, you like, as a play-by-play broadcaster yourself, who's always whining to me on the phone about people talking over you, you like having the color guy, the ex-jock, talking while you're trying to describe the game. Is that what you're just saying to me?
I think there's a time and a place for it.
Yeah.
I think there's a time.
Talking over the guy?
When there's a lot of neutral zone play, there's nothing wrong with coming in with a comment.
And that's the key. But when you're incessantly talking and get involved in a conversation that has nothing to do with the play, there's a problem.
I understand a fairy told me that last week he got all over me.
Which fairy was that?
I don't know, but
you know a lot of them,
several.
I guess. That's what I hear.
The tooth fairy.
Yeah.
How's that? Told me you got all over me because we were discussing what was going on the other side of the ice in the Boston Bruins game.
Got a 2-on-1 break. We got a great chance to put the game away.
There wasn't a 2-on-1 break when we started discussing it. But normally you were going to get 9 times out of 10 you're going to be able to complete. You're going to be able to complete what you want to get in. But there's a lot of play-by-play guys that don't like any analytical commentary at all during the play-by-play. When the whistle stops, fine. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. And John Davidson and Sam Rosen, I think, are a terrific team. I kind of like JD.
If you like hearing guys have a conversation that has nothing to do with watching a game. If you enjoy somebody making the game exciting...
You also understand it's a television sport.
Yeah, it is a television
It's not
sport,
radio.
right.
Now, radio, it's puck to puck, play to play.
You don't have to do as much verbal. I grant you can see things. You can do a little more diversion. But nevertheless, there are people watching. There are people who are veteran fans who understand everything that's going on. There are people tuning in for the first time every day. You're trying to make the sport exciting to them. You don't make it exciting to them when you're talking about caca.
So you're saying there's an epidemic going around the National Hockey League right now?
There is a major epidemic. I told you about Saturday night. I'm watching the hockey night in Canada there. The Leafs pounding the Kings, by the way. Leafs are winning every day. I should mention that. And Harry Neal, who usually, and I just told you, I think he's the best on color. He's talking over Chris Cuthbert. Now, listen, Chris Cuthbert is, he could have been doing that morning show here this morning. He wouldn't have known the difference. Chris Cuthbert is weak, okay? So it's bad enough that we get Bob Cole doing a Montreal game, and we got to put up with Chris Cuthbert doing the Leafs. That's bad enough. Harry Neal is talking while the Leafs score a goal. The man doesn't even get a chance to score the goal. Later on in the game, in the third period, at this point, it's 4-3 Toronto.
You just told me Harry Neal was the best. Now you're saying he's talking while there was a goal scored.
Because he's catching the epidemic. It's like, no matter how good you... it's like Ebola. No matter what a good person you are, it's in the air, you catch it. And then later on in the third period, it's only 4-3 Toronto. It's a tense game. It's a tight game. LA's making a big comeback. And here's Ron McLean. Another great guy, but he's the studio guy. And the game is going on. He's interviewing Rob Blake of the Kings, who's injured and not playing. And they're talking while the game is going on. Here's Paul DiPietro, scores the fifth, which turned out to be the decisive goal in the game. There's no call. There is no call. There's no anything. And Ron McLean says, here I am talking again when, Chris, you should be talking. And he still doesn't stop. He still goes on and finishes the interview. How can you be interviewing a guy while the game is going on?
I guess the epidemic has continued right through not only hockey, but now the NFL. They had the play-by-play announcerless game where they had Bradshaw
but this shows
Jimmy Johnson.
This shows me that the powers that be don't understand the importance of the great play-by-play broadcasters who can paint the picture either on radio or television. They don't appreciate it. They think that everybody wants to hear what the jocks have to say. Like Paul McGuire, who's nothing but a big pile of crap, a big buffoon who laughs at his own material. Or Chris Collinsworth with that gravelly voice now who thinks that, maybe he's auditioning to be doing that nighttime sports show they got on there at QAM with that guy with the gravelly voice. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Well, I think there's got to be a happy medium. I understand what you're saying, and there are a lot of hockey fans that I've talked to that agree with you. But when there is neutral zone play and there doesn't seem to be a great flurry going on, I see nothing wrong.
The great flurry. He needs a haircut, by the way. They had him on last night in the Pittsburgh-Calgary game.
He's on the cover of Hockey.
He needs a haircut. Now, there's a great little player that somebody should get. Calgary will never let him go, but there's a great little player.
They can't. And they wouldn't have let Neuendijk go if he would have agreed to go back, but they embarrassed him.
I understand he enjoyed hanging out with the guys at Cornell, is the rumor that I get.
Well, he did enjoy hanging out with the guys.
Yeah, a little bit too much from what I understand.
Well, no, that's not true.
How do you know that? It's just a joke, but right away you're defensive. See, you're starting to succumb to all those pressures, all those stories again. So anyway, we'll talk about Chris Moore for a moment when we come back.
What is with you today?
It's just a joke.
What is with you?
I'm trying to loosen you up a little bit because you're like such a
loosen me up. You're the guy that's all fired up today, not me. I'm fine. I was looking forward to coming in, having a little fun.
I'm trying to divert my mental process from the internal things that are happening here. Don't you
look white as a ghost today. It's a good thing we're not on television today.
Remember Alistair
You're wearing
Sim?
A blue shirt and you're white and you're matching.
The movie A Christmas Carol with Alistair Sim? I'm ready to put on that silly hat and the gown and start dancing around just to try to avoid reality here, which is a pretty ugly thing. Okay, we'll get Sherry on the phone. And I'm going to give him really holy hell. I give him holy hell, but he's got no power anymore. He just talks a good game. He doesn't get anything done.
Got to ask him about his tirade against the Canadians and the fans in Montreal.
Oh, don't worry about that. About the Frogs.
Yeah.
About Mike Keane. Okay, they get rid of Mike Keane, the ex-captain. Captains are flying out of there. If you don't speak French up there, if there's anybody down here that thinks bilingualism works, just look at that election they had up there. Just look at the whole Montreal Canadian organization. They had to bring in Pierre Turgeon and all those frogs to satisfy them. And anybody who dared to make a comment about it, like Mike Keane, who was the last captain, you're out, okay? Kirk Muller is out. Mike Keane is out. You got to have a frog in
four
there.
captains, including Guy Carbonneau. There's a Frenchman that got traded,
he was a captain. It's a frog fest, is what it is. Anyway, 10:23 at WIOD. And so what's the story on the tickets? Because these people hang up. They think you got free tickets for tomorrow night's game against the
I guess I got to
Jets.
make your show, so I brought 10 pairs of tickets.
Oh, 10 pair. Okay. You can be sure that Goofball never matched that. No chance. 10:23.
10 pairs for tomorrow night. Also want to mention...
In fact, Jeff Moss, he'd be lucky to have 1 pair, but that's another story.
This is a feather in your cap. Do you realize, remember when last time we were out, we gave away the icebreaker?
Yeah.
Which was a 6-ticket voucher.
I sure do, and you didn't even understand
and
what it was.
the John Van Beesbrook autograph.
Right.
Well, John's not very happy with you right now because he's had to sign quite a few pucks.
Yeah.
They have sold a ton
Great.
of the icebreakers. And by the way, they will stop selling them as of Christmas, so still time.
Yeah, you still got like 5 days. That's a great holiday gift.
1-800-GO-PANT.
Call up 1-800-GO-PANT and buy that icebreaker package, which will tell you more, but that's like for 6 games, and it's with the puck and all the other stuff.
6 tickets, not 6 games.
Are you going to start again admitting that you don't understand what it's for?
It's not for 6 games. It's 6 tickets for 1 game, or you can use, well, unless you're going by yourself, you can use it for 6 games.
Or 3 games for 2 people.
Games.
It's 6 tickets.
6 tickets. You said 6 games.
It can be. We have a lot of antisocial people in this audience that go by themselves, okay? Cut the crap. Okay, 10:24 at WIOD. Are we still, is this station still on the air? We're not. George says we're not on the air, so don't take it too serious. If you're short on holiday cash, need to buy Christmas presents, where are you going to get the money? Right here's the answer for you. I'm glad you asked. Fast Auto Loans, they're your one solution whenever you need cash fast. If you got free and clear title to your car, Fast Auto Loans could put $2,500 in your pocket today. Don't be fooled by the imitators and wind up paying way too much interest. Fast Auto Loans isn't a pawn shop. You don't pay them some gigantic balloon payment, and you sure as hell don't sign over the title to your car. Fast Auto Loans just has a lien on your title. You drive the car, you get the cash. That's the way it works. No embarrassing credit checks, no long approval process to sit around waiting on. So call now for instant approval, and the cash will be in your hands within 24 hours with special holiday rates whether you need the money for a month, for a year, for a lifetime. Fast Auto Loans is fully licensed by the Florida Department of Finance, and they participate in BBB Care. That's a program administered by the Better Business Bureau of South Florida. 3 convenient locations, soon to be 4. They're in Broward, they're in Dade, they're in Palm Beach. Call them today, get some money in your hand. 1-800-910-FAST. 1-800-910-FAST.
This is Rick Riley. I'm going skiing in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, February 17th through the 24th. I'd love to have you come with me. So let's go. Pick up the phone, make the call to Peter Glenn Travel, and come on out to Steamboat with us. Check this out. You're going to be getting round-trip air to Denver, bus transfer to Steamboat, accommodations at the ranch. It's an absolutely gorgeous place with an outdoor heated hot tub, pool, sauna, plus a 5-day lift ticket to ski Steamboat's Champagne Powder, and an on-mountain barbecue, and a NASCAR race with trophies and awards. All of this starting at just $999. But hurry up, seats are going fast. Time is running out. Call Peter Glenn Travel today at 1-800-FUN-2-SKI. That's 1-800-FUN-2-SKI. And make sure you don't get left behind.
Get your reservations now. Call 1-800-FUN-2-SKI. That's 1-800-FUN, the number 2, SKI.
Peter Glenn, go for the snow.
610 WIOD. Set your pager to vibrate.
This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. They don't come any better than Neil Rogers.
Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Brought to you by Molson Exports. X says it all. By Ford of Canada, where quality is job one. It's working. By Imperial Oil and Esso Associates, proud to be one of the leading sponsors of youth hockey in Canada. And by Pepsi. Gotta have it.
Okay, we like to balance things out a little bit. We got one guy here that's a butt kisser and don't tell it like it is. We got another guy. We figure we better balance it out and get grapes on the air. Don Cherry is here, who doesn't kiss butt and does tell it like it is most of the time.
Hi, Neil. Hey, that theme, all the Canadians down there have got killed right now. I tell you, that's one of the greatest themes of all time.
It really is, and I can remember Bill Hewitt. I want to put that bug in your ear again. I remember him coming on the air. Yeah, I sure do, but of course you don't have him in the Hall of Fame yet. You know, I give you an easy assignment.
Well, neither am I.
Yeah. You not?
No.
Well, that's because you made too many enemies. That's your problem.
Hey, Grapes, get this guy off my back, will you? Get this guy off my back.
Okay, now listen, I know...
Tell it like it is, right, Neil?
That's right. Grapes and I are the only two in America, in North America, that tell it like it is. Now,
now you're being nice to him.
Will
you're
you
sucking
stop
up
interrupting?
to him. Hang on a second. Now you're being nice to him and sucking up to him. You're ready to carve him last week. Wait till I get Cherry on here. I'm going to straighten him out, too. Now you're saying he's the only guy that tells it like it is.
I'm shutting his mic off, Grapes.
Good. Keep quiet.
So anyway, I was just telling him about his good friend J.D., John Davidson. He loves dropping names from me. You know, his good buddy J.D. I know that J.D. you think every now and then is full of crap, and of course he keeps talking through the game, and poor Sam Rosen's got to put up with that stuff. And now, I told Rimmer it's catching because Saturday night I'm watching the Leafs game, and you guys are out there in Los Angeles. Harry is talking over poor Chris Cuthbert. You know, it's bad enough we got to put up with Chris Cuthbert. We want Bob Cole doing the Leafs. We don't want him to do no frog games. We want him on the Leafs. So we got to put up with Chris Cuthbert. Harry is talking over while the Leafs score their first 2 goals. Then Ron McLean is talking to Rob Blake there when DiPietro scores the goal. Now, what the hell is going on here? Get these old jocks off the air already.
Doesn't matter, Neil. Doesn't matter at all. Long as coach's corner is great. That's it. Nobody watches the game.
Well, we figured we'd talk to you about the Frogs today. That's one of the things.
Coach's Corner, a week, not this past Saturday. I was telling Don this the other day when I called him to invite him on your show, Neil. The show before this last Saturday's was one of the best, one of the all-time classics. And I guess you got a little flack for that one,
You better hang on to your seat tight, Grapes. The suction's starting already.
Wait a minute. They're all good. There's just some better than others.
Okay, well, that one was better. That one was a lot better. And I'll tell you what, you went after the fans in Montreal, you went after Réjean Houle, and you went after Mario Tremblay.
But I was a little disappointed you still haven't used the word frog yet. You're coming close with that Claude the Fraud, but you still aren't using the frog yet.
Well, when I was the guy that started Pat Roy, I don't understand him. I never heard of Raw Rogers, I'll tell you that.
Raw Rogers.
Yeah, they're about Florida. I mean, this is one of the greatest stories in the last 10 years. It's unbelievable.
And when are you guys going to get on it already? When are you going to learn we got the best coach going?
Absolutely, and he's going to be on the All-Star team, if you can believe that. I was there in the league 7 years, never made it once. Because if they end up first place in their conference, he can be in the All-Star.
That's right.
Mark Crawford.
I wonder if he'll come up with his own video now, challenge you.
No, never. No, are you kidding? Nobody touches that one. We're going over 200,000 this year.
Unbelievable. Rock'em Sock'em 7.
Yeah.
You haven't sent Neil and I our copies yet.
Hey?
You haven't sent Neil and I our copies.
You and Neil, I'll get you one. It's just I'm so busy up here that you know how that is. But Scott Mellanby, 36 points. You guys know that Jody Hall, plus 17, leads the league in shooting percentage.
There you go. Okay. Jody Hull is God. I've been saying that all along. These guys don't know. They don't know what it's all about.
I tell you, and you got character guys, Strudland and Gordy Murphy.
Yeah, you guys ought to get a little bit more on us Panthers on it. Hockey Night in Canada. Teach some of those guys up there a little bit what about a great hockey team's all about, and the fact that you don't have to pay guys millions of dollars to play well either.
Hey, Grapes, you know, this guy's being so nice to you today. Now, one thing you know about me, when I tell you something on or off the air, it's going to be the same.
Oh,
this guy. This guy.
God.
No, hang on. Hang on. Last week he's saying to me, Rimmer, he says to me,
so deep. I'm going to
let me finish here.
Every time he talks about this frog, Denise
here we go. Hang on a second here. Hang on. Hang on. Let me just.
I'm going to dig a hole for you. You'll never get out of it.
Listen to this one here. He says, wait till we get Grapes on, because now I think Cliff Fletcher's listening too much to Grapes. We've got Baumgartner and Ty Domi and Dummy and all these other guys.
That's before Momesso scored the 2 goals in that one game, though, see?
You love a guy like Momesso, and how about Paul DiPietro?
That's a great story. DiPietro comes back from like oblivion and scores right off the bat, and the kid's doing good.
But anyhow, let's get back to you guys.
No, let's talk about the Leafs for just a second. You know, you didn't.
Florida.
We'll get back to them. We'll get back to them in a minute. But how about giving our Leafs a little bit of credit? They're 7 games over 500. They don't have that great of a personnel, but Pat's got them playing pretty good.
Well, they're a tough team, and Potvin, long as Potvin and Damian Rose, I don't understand why somebody doesn't go after this guy. He's better than
he's damn good
backup goaltender, and he gets in every third game. I don't understand why somebody doesn't make a big.
Your Bruins could use him.
Yeah, the Bruins could use him desperate, boy. They might as well just have an empty net. The Bruins, they got no goaltender.
I felt sorry for Blaine Lochner the other night. He exploded after the game. He let in 3 quick ones, almost lost the game. You know, his second year in the league, you don't start giving Boston reporters, heck, they'll remember and they'll get them.
That was after the Florida game.
Yeah.
And he
after
said,
we came back and almost got even in that game.
He's also the same goalie that told Jerry Cheevers last year, Grapes, after he was struggling for a while. Cheevers, the Hall of Famer, your former goalie. Cheevers went to help the kid out and he said, hey, listen, the game's changed. Thanks. I know you're a Hall of Famer, but no thanks. That's exactly what he told him. That's what he told him last year. He said, you don't have to help me.
I know how long he'd have played for you.
I can't imagine it. Imagine what Cheevers thought of that guy. So
he was pretty pissed off.
Well, I would imagine. I never heard that one before.
Well, hey, you hear a lot of things.
So let's get back to this Frog Fest up there in Montreal. You know, we all watched with just amazed and shocked at that election up there in Quebec, that crap that went on there, and now you see the same thing, a microcosm of it on the Canadians, where unless you know, Mike Keane comes out, the captain of the team, and he made one little comment about, people that speak French and about if you don't do this, and all of a sudden his ass is gone, and it's true. They got to have Turgeon and all those frogs up there, and it's a sad thing that they got to build a hockey franchise based on something ethnic instead of talent.
Well, it's absolutely right. And what about the guy in Denver? He said that he actually said this in the Hockey News, that if he has a choice between an English guy and a French guy, he's choosing the French guy. He's not changing one bit. They got a PR guy out there that's French that can't speak English. Figure that one out.
What do they do? They think they're still in Quebec. Is that it?
That's it. And Lyle Oling was the absolute guy for. He's the guy that stood up in the dressing room and said, "Look, okay, the trade's there. Let's smarten up and let's start playing hockey." And he's the leader on this club, but unfortunately his first name's not Pierre, so he was not the captain. You're absolutely right. Nobody says that up here. I mean, they're absolutely afraid. Believe it or not, we've got 3 French guys in Mississauga. We've got French signs all over the place. Sorty, Nordy, West Mud. $4 million for the 3 French guys in Mississauga. It's unbelievable. Of course, the 2 parties that we got running up here, both their names are Jean. So figure it out.
And by the way, speaking of Pat Roy, since the Avalanche got him, which I predicted this because I think he's washed up, they're not winning any games anymore.
Well, screw them off a little. That's all you need. You got to roll it along. You could do the same thing in Florida. Throw like some trade Strudlin or something like that. Just throw that little chemistry.
They're not going to
off.
trade Strudlin.
Oh, I know they're not. I just said that, like a character guy. And if they did something like that, throw the chemistry off and you're gone.
Speaking of trades, how about this Nieuwendyk deal? You can't tell me, sitting here, that there are a number of teams, including the Leafs, Neil Rogers' Maple Leafs, and the Florida Panthers, and the Devils, and the Rangers, that couldn't have come up with a better deal than what Dallas has done in getting Joe Nieuwendyk.
Boy, I tell you, Nieuwendyk is one of those guys at center. He could turn the whole franchise around, but what happens in Calgary? They're sitting there. They got to make the playoffs. And those crowds out there, nobody's coming up with a better deal. I mean, when you got a gun to your head like that, it's the same thing as Milbury in New York Islanders. He's got a gun to his head, and they're like sharks, the GMs. They just sit and wait till your weakest moment. So I guess they figure they better get something for him before the deadline.
Well, they made the trade last night. I don't know if you heard it, but they picked up a kid from Kamloops who was a #1 pick out of Dallas last year. Obviously a future. He's not going to help them make the playoffs. And Corey Millen, who Dallas didn't even bring up from the minors until the last week or two. I mean, that trade, it stinks.
Nick Hatcher is the guy that's the big deal. You know, that's hey, you got to do something. It's the old deal that it's better to have somebody there than nobody there, and if they don't get going soon, they won't make the playoffs. And you know, in hockey, if you don't make the playoffs, you're in deep trouble financially.
Well, Al Coates, I think, sealed his own fate as the future general manager in Calgary with that trade.
They're not going to make the playoffs. They're going nowhere. That game they played against Pittsburgh last night, they might as well have stayed home. They didn't even show up.
Gordy Roberts, when you have guys like that out, and they just lost too many guys. They did not want to let Otto go. And when you let McKinnon go, you can see they were going down the pipe as soon as he started that stuff. Vernon go. They didn't want to pay the big money, and when you don't want to pay the big money in sports anymore, you're going to end up last.
Then I'll tell you, they're playing no defense. This Trevor Kittle last night, he looked like he was in the game, playing the game by himself, man. It was an ugly thing to watch, especially when you're playing those Penguins.
Well, nobody's going to... Those, if they're in the mood to play, and they want to play, and Barras and Reggett start coming through, they're going to be in the finals, but sometimes they just show up, they're not ready to play, but boy, oh boy, can they put on a clinic if they want to go.
You bet. Okay, hang on a second, Grapes. We're going to do a little break. We'll come right back. Don Cherry's here, and Jeff Rimmer's here to hold his hand. It's 21 till 11 at WIOD. You're going to love it now more than ever. It's the new Pompano Park Racing for the thrill and excitement of live harness racing action and nightly full card simulcasting from your favorite tracks. Come visit Pompano Park Racing. Now, racing will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday like tonight, with first post time 7:30. This Friday night's co-features will be the Philly and Mare Open Pace and the Open Trot. For a full night's worth of valuable entertainment, start off at the top of the park restaurant, get yourself a great meal, enjoy a beautiful panoramic view of the skyline, and plunge your brains out. Come check out South Florida's nighttime hotspot for food, for fun, excitement. Take I-95 or the Turnpike to the Atlantic Boulevard exit, then south to Power Line Road. For good times, good food, and great racing, it's the new Pompano Park Racing, and the best news is Jackie Lee won't be there.
The opinions expressed by the host, guests, or callers on WIOD are not necessarily those of the station or its sponsors. All WIOD programs are copyright 1995 by WIOD Incorporated. No tape recordings or transcripts may be created or distributed without prior written consent of WIOD Incorporated.
This is Mike Brophy, senior writer with the Hockey News. They don't come any better than Neil Rogers.
That's the set, trying to get into the clear, does. Swing it in and goes, he's good!
Okay, so we got a little Bill Hewitt on there to try to put the plant the seed in Cherry's mind again, to get him in the Hall of Fame and quit postponing the inevitable, you know?
Well, I do the best I can. I'm not too popular with the Hall of Famers, as Rimmer knows, but I'll do my best. If I put the word in for him, he won't make it for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like you got Neil Rogers syndrome.
Yeah.
Same things happen to me.
Rimmer said to me, he said, you know, every time you're on with Cherry, you never play one of my calls, one of those great calls, the Panthers score all these goals.
Here we
how
go.
about playing a Jeff Rimmer call of one of those great goals? So I said, today's the day I'm going to do it so Cherry can hear some of your great work.
There's Francis after the puck. Behind the goal. Linder beats Bermuda, and it's cleared, but not out. Sanford on the far side. Giving the puck to Francis. Now back to Sanford and Lemieux around the net. Lemieux turns around and shoots it. Garceau made the save on him. Mario's got it back one more time. Lemieux again settles in. Goes to Francis. Will he shoot it? No. The Yager. He walks it. He's got a chance here. Shoots. Scores! Ted Colby cultural Yakko cigarette too. He smoked them like a bad cigar. You leave Yager like that one-on-one, he will burn you into a tie hockey game. Yarmir Yager.
He's starting to sound more like Mike Lang all the time, isn't he, Grapes?
You know, I when I hear stuff like that, you know, I want to absolutely weep. You know what I mean? I hear this guy beat him like a dead mule and stuff like that.
Way to go, Grapes. I love you, Grapes. I knew this was set up ahead of time.
It wasn't set up.
How much was the check for? How much did he send you to say this?
I can't say. Look, hockey, I know all the stuff that's coming in. We're standing on our heads, and we're pretty soon we're going to be announcing goals like, boom! We're going to have little midgets running around.
Well, that's Chris Moore. That's Chris Moore does that.
Pardon?
Chris Moore does that.
I know.
He already says that.
I just, you know, baseball has been the same since the 1800s. We make more rule changes. We have guys coming in. How about this one, Rimmer? Fail to hold the zone. I like the one, yes, lateral movement. That means sideways? Keep the puck in, I guess. Reverse curl. I mean, that means he turn and come back.
How about this one? The hard around.
Oh, the hard around, yeah.
Sounds like something sexual to me.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. Shoots it in on a hard around. I don't want to tell you, Rimmer's the one that says that one, by the way.
I don't like the one where they say the soft zone. I don't like that one.
Well, that's another sex thing, see? That's Potvin again, Denise.
Hey, Graves, let's get serious here for a minute.
Yeah.
You're coaching in the
subject.
You're coaching in the National Hockey League today.
Yes.
And this takes over for a debate that Neil and I had last time I was in here. You're coaching in the NHL today. You have your choice as your number one center, Lindros or Lemieux. Who do you take?
I'll take Lindros.
All right. Unrehearsed. You know, I've been had before in my life, but this is the biggest setup I've ever been put in the middle of in my life.
No way,
man.
it's not a setup.
The last time I got set up like this was those Cambridge diet fakers that came in. They set up all the calls ahead of time. That's like 15 years ago, for crying out loud. This thing is all planned. It's all scripted. I can't believe. Even Cherry's got a price. I can see that.
No way. First of all, the egg. Second of all, the back. And Lindros is a complete package. There hasn't been a guy come along like him. Big, tough hit, fight, block shots, score goals, set up things.
All right, let's put the question a little bit different. Right now, forget about who you'd rather have for the long run. Right now, who's playing the best in the league?
Well, I'd have to say Mario when he plays right now. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
Lindros has been hurt a couple of times.
Yep.
He gets hit, hurt, and blocking shots, and that's one thing Mario will never be.
I'm going to tell you, Mario scored a goal last night. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you saw the highlights. It's about the third time I've seen him. He's behind the red line. It's an impossible angle, and somehow he slides it across that red line, and it just curves into that. I don't know how anybody
He's got the long reach.
That angle.
No, that was a superb goal, and he's done it 3 times.
Yep.
Once against the Panthers.
Right.
Well, Bobby Orr said he has never seen a guy. He's the best he's ever seen skill-wise. Maybe not the best player, but skill-wise, he's the best he's ever seen. That was when Bobby didn't look in the mirror, that's all.
Yeah.
But he's got skills. He made a move on Bork 2 years ago that Raymond Bork, all-star North, I'm not putting a knock on him. He was screwing himself right into the ice. Remember that one where he gave it to him, come back and walk around? I mean, he does things that it's unbelievable. He was a floater. The first 2 or 3 years, he definitely was a floater, but he went to Team Canada, and he saw Gretzky, and he saw Tocchet, and guys like that showed up every night. That's when he turned into a hockey player.
Well, you know, there's some guys, you talk about Bobby Orr, there are some guys in this town, I don't want to say who they'd like to pretend that Denise Potvin was a better defenseman than Bobby Orr.
Well, listen, I'm not knocking Potvin. He was tough, too, and he could put the puck in, and he could make plays, he could block shots, he could do it all.
But you put him in the same class with Bobby?
I put him right behind Bobby, but nobody. I'm not talking defenseman. I'm talking play.
I don't think Bobby want to have him right behind him.
Well, listen, if you could have, and you talk to Denny, and he could say, I'm right up close to Orr, it's pretty good. Serge Savard said there's players, stars, superstars, and then there was Bobby Orr.
There you go.
Speaking of Serge Savard, I read yesterday that he was interviewed for the Ottawa general manager's job.
I couldn't, just a minute, what was that again?
Was Rose got you doing some...
She's hollering at me. She wants me to put up the Christmas tree.
Uh-oh, well, we're going to have to
let you... Go ahead, Neil, go ahead. What was that again about Serge, my buddy?
I was going to say Serge Savard, the story was, I read it yesterday in the Boston Globe, that he was at least interviewed and being considered for the GM job in Ottawa before they hired Pierre Gauthier.
Well, I don't... Serge, I talked to Serge after the thing. He was, after he got fired, and he was a wait-out man, and this guy, as Rimmer will tell you, is a millionaire. He doesn't need that aggravation, I'll tell you that right now. But that would be good because, again, you have to have a French guy in Ottawa because Hall's right across the river, and they're trying to get the French people to come in. That's why they give Daigle $12.5 million.
Most overrated player in the game, most overpaid player in the game.
Whoever in the history of sports.
Yep. And in the meantime, they're not drawing flies in there, and they're going to build that bigger arena, and they're still not going to draw flies unless they got a product to put on.
When are we going to get to talk about Florida? I'd like to.
Okay, let's do it. And I want to hear more about Florida on Hockey Night in Canada, so all these people all over the world with their satellite dishes can hear what a great team and a great coach we got.
Absolutely, and he went under. Doug McLean went under a very cloud getting that job because everybody said, and I'm going to say it, the only reason he got it was that Brian Murray is his friend, and that's why he got it. And
yeah, I got something to that. That's what I believe.
Yeah, and then somebody said, well, Brian got him because then he could fire him a little, and then he could back coach it again. I guess he showed them all. Jovanovski, I'm telling you, this guy, he is one of my favorite players. The guy comes down that left side going in his side, and when he hits, he's like, he reminds me of Lindros in a way. He hits to hurt. He just doesn't hit. Hit to hit to impress everybody.
And what a great kid. Loves to play the game. Grapes always with a smile on his face.
And I had to laugh one time when he was in the finals 2 years ago. They brought all the first rounders down, and you remember this. I put them on Coach's Corner, and Sports Illustrated said it must have been a real thrill to meet Mark Messier, after the Cup. No, the real thrill was going on Coach's Corner with Grapes.
That's true.
That's why I love it.
That's why you love him, Mike. I knew there was another reason. Now, I know you're not too big on those Europeans, but this kid, Radak Dvorak, this kid's going to be a star.
Well, Doug McLean said he's a tough kid. I said, yeah, comparatively speaking, so we won't go into that. Yeah, he's not bad. But when the playoffs come around, and then you're going to get Terry Carter plus 14. Paul, and anybody, you got a lovely blend here. Anybody wants to fool around, you got Paul Laws, he can straighten them out. And everybody talks about Van Beesbrook, and he is a 14-7-1. But I never hear anybody talking about Fitzpatrick 9-1-1. I never hear anybody.
He's played phenomenal. That's right. Well, see, the only name they know down here, unfortunately, is Van Beesbrook because they like the sound of it. But Fitzy's played great too. Well, and of course, all this stuff about the Europeans, it must make your blood boil when you watch those Red Wings out there. Who, again, great regular season. We don't know if they'll choke in the playoffs, but they put that all-Russian line, those 5 Russian guys out there. You must be going nuts.
Well, first of all, you got Paul Coffey, 1,000 points, can't make the power play. Figure that one out. And all I got to say, when I was on a Detroit talk station, crash flying. And Rimmer knows what I'm talking about. Palik, Peluso, and McKay, they threw them out against those Europeans there. They had to get cattle prods to get them on the ice. And you gotta have character guys. I know the Europeans, you gotta have them popped in the goals net, but in the playoffs, take a look at the guys that come through in the playoffs all the time. And
now, one guy's on Detroit. You can't get on the ice, Cicerelli.
Yeah, well, there's another thing. Well,
I knew we'd never get through. I knew we'd never get through the whole hour without Rimmer getting Cicerelli's name in there at least once.
They've been fighting since he got there. You know, Dino, he's always...
Dino and Scotty fought before they got there.
Yeah, and here's the guy that's their best playoff guy. If they all played like he did in the playoffs last year, they might have won the Stanley Cup.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to let you go, but let me just make your prediction right now. Put you on the spot. Who do you like in the finals?
I like Detroit, Pittsburgh in the finals, and you won't believe this, Rimmer. I was almost what I said, almost Paul McLean. At the very opening, he had you know how you have a talk and you got about a minute to go or something, you got to fill. Right off the bat, before the season started, the first game, he says who's going to win the Stanley Cup and who's going to be in the finals. So I said, what, are you kidding? It hasn't even started. You got to tell me right now. I said Detroit, Pittsburgh with Detroit winning it. And that was before.
And you
wow.
think that
I am amazing.
You think
this? You into silence. I know that.
And you think this is the year they're finally going to forget how to choke? Is that what you're saying?
This is the year they're going to try to choke. But I'll tell you, my favorite team to watch, I got to say right now, is Chicago. I'll tell you something, boy. They're not doing very good, but if something moves on the ice,
they come to play.
And Probert is playing the best he ever played in his life.
But I'm going to tell you, Eddie the Eagle man, pretty shaky these days.
He's not playing very well in the net.
Eddie the Eagle, they got to get the Hackett in there. Eddie the Eagle, he had 29 shots in 2 games and lost them both. Then Griesbeck gets that sometimes in a period.
Right.
No way. He's Belfer. I've said this along. He plays when he wants to play. You got to get Hackett in there. He's won his last 3.
Hey, Grapes, what's your prediction for the Panthers in the playoffs?
It all depends. Again, you go back again as Van Beesbrook or Fitzpatrick. If you have and your injuries, you guys got a team that you can't have 2 or 3 injuries. You have 2 or 3 serious injuries, then it's sayonara.
But you know what? It's a little different, though, here, and this is something you can talk about on Hockey Night in Canada. A little different with the Panthers because they don't have a superstar, and Doug McLean can roll 4 lines. Yeah. And when it gets to the playoffs, things tighten up defensively. The Panthers can play that well. They've got a decent back line, and they've got, as you mentioned here a couple of times, they've got great goaltending. So they are going to be in the playoffs now. If they play 500 from here on in, they're in the playoffs. And the fact of the matter is, anything, as you well know, as coach of the Bruins, anything can happen in the playoffs.
Well, that's true, but the only thing I see about Florida, they haven't been there before, and sometimes when a team like that makes the playoffs, they say, oh, this is their Stanley Cup, and you've seen that before. They've got to think it's not enough just to make the playoffs. They've got to do.
Talk us up there, will you, please?
I'll do our best.
Okay, thanks a million. Have a great holiday, Grapes, and we'll talk to you soon.
Toodaloo.
Okay.
Say hi to Rose.
10:56 at WIOD. Did you know you can buy a Dolphin football helmet for just $9.99? It's true. It even has the Dolphins' official logo on it. What's more, it's the most delicious football helmet you've ever come into contact with. That's because this football helmet is the newest ice cream cake from Carvel. It's shaped like a helmet, decorated with the Dolphins logo, and handmade of rich, delicious ice cream. Your participating Carvel ice cream bakery, your favorite supermarket's got them for only $9.99. And with proof of purchase, you can send in for a free Spiral football. So look for the Carvel football helmet cakes at your participating Carvel ice cream bakery or your favorite supermarket. They're only $9.99, so pick up a bunch for the holidays. And don't forget to send in for that free Spiral football, too. The Carvel football helmet, it's at your Carvel ice cream bakery right now because Carvel believes everything should be made of ice cream, even Dolphin football helmets.
If you watch the Weather Channel cable network, you'll see messages touting 610 WIOD as the radio station with the best news, traffic, and weather. The Weather Channel knows And that's why they called us. No pancake weather babes here. Weather pros on News Talk and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.
Okay, we're almost up on the news now, which I never ever do that, but in the case when you got grapes on the phone, you don't monkey around and cut it short. And it's real fascinating to see. Like I said, when you're had, you admit it. You say, okay, I've been had. I know this was a setup deal. During the break now, Rimmer admitted he sent a nice check up there, a nice holiday check to Cherry.
I did nothing of the sort.
Mike Lang, a big ass. Give a song and a dance about Eric Lindros. And, everybody's got their price.
Emotional stability is not what it's cracked up to be. WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News Talk and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.